everybody. We're back. Holy
We
cow.
are back.
We're back and we're
this
pumped
is a
up.
good one.
We're back and we're pumped up. We
I'm
told you we'd be
drinking-
more pumped.
Non-caffeinated cream soda.
I'm drinking water infused with my Circle dispenser. It's guava. Don't worry, I'm high on life right now.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
So, John, what are we doing today?
We're talking about our Growouts. We're talking about the stuff for next season. And I'm excited. I can't wait.
Well, if this shit doesn't excite you,
I know, exactly.
what are we doing?
What are we doing here? We should just
or
sell
what are we
everything.
spending our money on?
Honestly,
That's a better
I
question.
could have bought so much stuff.
Oh, my God. It's stupid how much. Like, you add up the money, and it's scary. We're adults.
I was. This is a fun fact. Before I got into breeding geckos, I had saved up enough money to buy a brand new pickup after I graduated college. That was going to be my
expensive.
That was going to be my graduation present. And now I don't have a pickup. I have geckos. So
You spent your pickup money on
I spent my pickup money on geckos. That's what I did. I have a car. It works fine. I just really wanted another pickup. But you know what? A pickup can't maybe make money for me in 10 years. Actually, it can. Never mind.
Pickups are a little bit different than any other car.
I'm confident. I'm confident in my choice.
Okay.
I like it. I'm
glad
okay
you're
with it. We wouldn't be doing this if I didn't buy all those geckos. So we're here.
That is fair. I was looking at a pickup truck right before I bought mine, not to get too far off into that tangent. There was some pickup trucks that cost more than BMWs.
Oh yeah, no. There's
trucks.
There's trucks that cost more than Porsches.
And I'm not even talking. I'm not even talking about like the crazy ones you're thinking of, but like Ford F-150s. Like
they're 50, 60K for a cheap one.
But those are like stock, like fabric seats.
Oh
you
yeah.
know, like
oh yeah.
Like there's nothing to them. You start putting in any kind of upgrades. You go any packages. I mean, you look at. What does a Raptor cost? Like 120?
Something around. I think like 80 to 100 or something like that.
Oh, it depends on the trim and everything. But
yeah.
like, it's just they're awesome.
Anyway,
they got a ton of room.
Anyway,
buy
geckos, not pickups.
There you go.
I stand firm in my choice. It's all right.
Pickup girls with
geckos.
There you go. Very cool. And hopefully the quality that we're about to show you here that we've picked up will,
maybe you'll understand a little bit or not.
It doesn't impress our wives and girlfriends, but maybe it'll impress you guys.
Yeah.
So let's start with you, John.
All right.
So we've got some pictures here that we've
Bobby's
put together.
running it. Guys, I put these all out of order. Don't pay any mind. I'm just going to talk about each individual one and how pumped I am about it. All right. This girl. This is a girl I raised from like 5 grams. I did not spend a lot on her. I know on the previous gecko little talk we had, we talked about how dowels are very expensive as they age. I bought this girl for $100 when she was like 5 grams. And she progressed into something that I would consider like probably a $500 gecko.
There you go.
Especially
that $100 was your gas money for your truck.
Exactly. Yeah, this one did not really affect me too much, but very good investment if I do say so myself. I gambled and I won. The one fun thing about this girl and why I'm so excited to have her in my programs is she reached breeding weight right like maybe less than a year old. She was at weight.
I love that.
The only reason I didn't breed her this season was because she wasn't age-wise ready to breed. She was I didn't feel comfortable pairing her because she was so young. But now
okay, how old is she at the beginning of the season?
At the beginning of the season, she was right at maybe a year old, maybe 11 months. 11 months to a year. Yeah. No, I was like, there's no way I can't, like, physically, she's dense. Like, she's a thick gecko. She's got decent structure, too. That's another thing. And she's more of that hypo-yellow look like I talked about. She is what I want. She's not completely covered in spots. I'm okay with that. Structure-wise, she's good. Age-wise, as far as growth rates go, she is very essential to having a good project that keeps replenishing itself. A lot of people, I think, overlooked that if you have a slow-growing gecko, its babies might slow grow as well, and that can kind of put you in a bottleneck if your babies are 2 years old and they're not weight-wise ready to breed. So I'm super excited to have a fast-growing female in my lineup.
Yeah.
So
I've got 3 I'm going to show you today. And I've got one that, at a year and 2 months laid their first set of duds.
Oh, wow.
And trust me, it's one, it might be the first one I'm showing a little later on. It's one that you want to start breeding.
Yep.
But also because it's so nice,
Yep.
you don't want to crash them. And you
Yep.
want to treat them with kid gloves. If anything, I'll let her hang around for an extra year before I start, But anyway, patience is another thing.
And if you can tell, I'm adding to my dowel project. I'll let you guys in a little secret here. The only reason I started buying dowels was to impress the girl I started talking to. Thankfully, that girl has now been with me for almost a year and a half. So it worked. It worked. I don't know how, but it worked. But now I like dowels, so I'm adding more. So
and clearly she likes you. So
she must. I mean, this next dude, again, we're for me, the next season is going to be the year of the Phantom. Like, I'm blown away. You guys are going to see a lot more great additions, but I am really ramping up my red porthole production this season. Yeah, go ahead and zoom in. Look at those crowns, Bobby. Remember when I
like it. I like it. It looks like a little king.
So this is the Gecko in the previous podcast where I told Bobby, I'm like, you're gonna hate the head on this thing.
It's not my favorite look. It was a little flatter, but it's got a good head size. I'll give it that.
So this guy is just a stunning red Phantom Lily. I love that look of like it's going all the way up the pins, but you can tell all of the drippies coming down. That like back going when I said like drips make good lilies. This guy has drips coming down. You can see the pattern connecting, and that is really, really crucial when you're coming to get high expression portholes. So you can tell where that it has that lily influence, but there's patterning in there that is going to show up with the normal offspring. And this dude comes from Rockstar Geckos. He comes from super solid lineage that I know passes on amazing normals as well as lilies. So that's something I'm super excited about, is seeing what the normals look out of him, because I know he's going to produce some crazy stuff. And he's just absolutely stunning. He's a little eager. When I tried to do a photo shoot with him, he started trying to consummate with the carpet. So I know he's ready, and I'm okay with that. It seems like he's eager.
Not picky.
I'd rather have an eager male than one that's terrified. So hopefully he likes the girls.
And shout out to Rockstar.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry. Not only Crested geckos are phenomenal, but as a guard guy, some of the blotches, he's got one female that I have pestered him way too much to I tried to get out of his clutches, and I, still don't have her, but maybe one day. Maybe one day.
Yeah, no, Rockstar Geckos, they're great people. I love their Phantom Harlequin line is exactly what I want. I want every single time they do a drop, I usually buy at least one of them, and it's bad. But I'm okay with it.
I'm okay with it. You know what you like. Yeah,
I know what I like. I like what they have. Next one. Another female. You guys are seeing. You'll see a lot of females. I'm sort of selling some of my females from this season to sort of make way and sort of adjust my project the way I want it. This girl's one of them. So going back to the last pod when I talked about how I didn't really know the direction I wanted to take my tri project, I just sort of bought what I thought looked nice, paired whatever. I think I'm starting to narrow that down, and that is the like high contrast, drippy, but also like it's more of a pinstripe. This girl, this is a great example, Bobby, of dripping on a normal gecko. This girl is full of drips. You can see that coming down from the dorsal, and she's absolutely stunning. She couldn't fire up fully for the photo, sadly, but she's jet black too. She's from Morph Menagerie, and her progression has been absolutely incredible. And
I hear they have nice geckos.
Yeah, they do. They have a couple nice ones.
A few good ones.
Yeah. But this girl's one thing I love about Morph Menagerie's geckos is their white is so thick. Like if I just showed you this gecko, some people would think it's a lily. This is not a lily, but the white is super dense. It's up in your face. The snowflaking is crazy. And she's another one that grew super fast. She was 40 grams at the start of the breeding season, but she was just so young that I couldn't pair her. But I'm glad I waited because I have the perfect male for her, and I'm super excited about that.
Awesome.
I know we're kind of speeding, but I'm just like so excited to talk, and I just want to show you guys all the geckos. This will probably be a shorter one.
What we're doing? No, that's okay.
Yeah. Okay. Another porthole, another female. This girl, I have been waiting for a gecko like this for so long. I funny story. This is
We
also
need like epic music to swell right now. For that.
just coming up.
Yes.
I bought this girl at Tinley from Rockstar Geckos
Ah, there you go.
on their website. So I went to Tinley to, like, Tinley, you know, biggest expo in the country, like, nicest stuff ever. I went to Tinley to find a perfect red female porthole for my male that I'll be showing you later. I couldn't find anything I wanted. I'm very picky when it comes to my portholes now. And I see Rockstar announce, like, hey, having a sale on my website. And I had been eyeing this girl for 2 or 3 months, but I was holding off because of the price. And it was at Tinley, and I'm like, I just have to do it. And my girlfriend was like, why are you buying a gecko online when we're at the, like, largest expo in the country? I'm like, you don't understand. I've walked through every table. There's nothing like it here.
Yeah.
And so that is the story of this girl. Her name is Monsoon. The previous Red Phantom, Lily, you saw, his name is Typhoon. I'm naming all of them after, like, weather, storms, like, I like naming themes.
New theme, all right.
Lots of themes. I just, you see me getting super excited about this girl. She's just, again, the lineage alone is enough of a reason to buy her, but to see all of that white and how thick it is come out, and to see, like, she has spotting coming back in the back of her leg, and she has white tips on her crest. Those little things you may not be able to see at first glance, but those are the things that I want to have expressed more. I want, like, those crests to be fully white. I want dripping going up over the dorsal almost. I am just think this is just such an essential piece for me, and I'm so glad that I have her.
Again, everybody knows I'm an idiot with crested geckos, but, like, is this something, the white that you're seeing on the bottom jaw? I look at that, and that is cool to me.
She has, like, the snowflaking under her chin. Mm-hmm. But as far as I know, the, like, lipstick look almost.
Yeah.
I'm seeing that with, like, any gecko that has white, has, like, the white patterning around the mouth. But I don't doubt that it's something that can be pushed. I just don't think many people are to the point where they're trying to push facial stuff near as much. Like with Gargs, with the limited supply of, like, outward
Morphs,
genes and stuff, that's where you're starting to see, like, Bobby's loves eyebrows and head coverage, lipstick, things like that. I don't doubt that's where
I asked the question.
Exactly. I knew as soon as you said it, I'm like, he found lipstick on a Crested.
Yeah, no, it's kind of cool.
I don't doubt
Very nice.
that's something that's going to be pushed more. I look forward to maybe pushing it more. My number, you guys probably can tell by my attitude around, like, when I see a phantom pop up for when I get to talk about it, is the thing I am most passionate about is red phantoms. Just the, like, absence of pattern, but just all of this white. I love it, and I feel like Phantom makes the white almost more crisp. You know, I might deal with the color a little bit. There's so much. I just love Phantom. I love how unique yet similar the geckos are. You know. Yeah. Anyway, that's enough about Monsoon. She's one of my stars. I love her. And this is the male that I have been waiting to find a female for. This is Riptide. Riptide, I had been...
That sounds like it actually is, like, a theme name for my...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was thinking, I was like, he names his all islands and stuff. He's probably going to like this.
I like Riptide.
Thank you.
That for a guard.
Now. It's a really common name, I found out. I named him Riptide, really? And I look at, like, 6 other breeders have males named Riptide. I'm like, oh, okay. I guess it's cool, though. It's cool.
It's a sweet name.
It's a sweet name.
But, it's a sweet gecko.
And I named him Riptide because of how jagged up and down his portholes are. It looks like a wave almost. Mm-hmm. And he is, again, I had been looking for a nice cornerstone male red phantom since last Tinley, and I didn't find him up until, like, December of last year. Mm-hmm. He is from Amari Geckos. Amari Geckos is such sweet people, and they make insane portholes, and I love anyone that makes insane portholes. He is what started the new gen of phantom for me. He's just incredible. Again, you can see the white tipping on the crest, the snowflaking coming around. He's got snowflaking on his cheeks, snowflaking on his legs, on his back. I just want to push the portholes as far up as they can go. That harlequining I want to be super present. Right now, a lot of people are going for the like empty back look where it's just 2 pins. I want drippy portholes like encasing the entire animal. Like that is the end. That is the end goal in my head, and just to see how jagged and upright his portholes are, knowing like there's such a big harlequin influence, it gives me hope that in a few generations I can get that look where I start getting portholes dripping down, meeting the portholes coming up, and just encasing him in white.
I love it all over the legs too.
Yes, he's got it all. He's got snowflaking. He's almost got drips coming in. He doesn't have near as many as of the white coming across as Monsoon. Hoping Monsoon can help kind of complement that. But you can just see the little specks of white coming everywhere, and that's exactly what I want for my project. I could rant about my Phantom project all day, even though it's small compared to a lot of other breeders. I'm trying to be really technical with what I add. And this isn't the last Phantom you're going to see that'll be in the lineup for 2026. So,
it's not a Phantom.
It's not a Phantom. It's not even a red. What's going on? It is a pinstripe tricolor. So
this is true.
This guy is from Zengex, and he is from a now retired pairing. This is one of the last guys he was selling out of it from Homunculus, and Homunculus is the one that's retired now. I can't remember the female. So he is no longer breeding. So I got one of the last things, and I love Homunculus. He's a great, just stellar example of a tricolor. This dude is, in essence, what I'm trying to look for. I realized I like really high contrasty, stark orange, white with that pinstriping. I love the dorsal, and I love the crest and how it's coming up. You can see the head stamp, and before the head stamp, it's all white, and those crests on the head are all white. I'm in love with that look. And so he is just, he's incredible. And he is only like 17, 18 grams, so there's a chance he's not able to breed next season, but I'm praying that he is. I've been feeding him good, not force feeding, but he smashes 3/4 inch crickets already, so I think he's going to grow pretty fast. I'm super excited with him. I can't wait to see what I can do with him. He is all around stunning at such a young age, and I can only see him going up from here. I really can. I've only had him for probably a couple months, and he's progressed so much in that little time. So again, super excited. I'm glad I finally discovered what I like in tricolors. I knew I liked tricolors. I just didn't really find anything that fit something that I looked at and then like, oh yeah, that's something I want to put my name behind. And I think I found it with this sort of look. So
that's awesome.
And we'll lead it into the other male I bought. Again, not fully fired in the photo. He didn't want to cooperate. This is one of those, a lot of people almost confuse this guy and that last guy. They're like, oh, so you have siblings. No, completely separate lineages. This dude is an Emily Burke line tricolor. Not from Emily Burke, from AJ, out of his male Midas. But again, he has got everything I want. That contrasty. If he fires down full or fires up fully, he's super jet black. That white is paper white, and that flaking of pattern, the snowflaking going all around, and having those splits of orange cross through, and then just the head coverage of white. I just love that like uniform yet chaotic look, if that makes any sense.
Absolutely.
He's incredible. He is definitely breeding next season. He is going to be going to that previous female I showed you. She is going to make incredible offspring with him. I already know they're going to be nuts. I'm just you like the tongue spicking out?
No. I like the
you like the gecko,
like in the middle here, how it's kind of jagged with different colors.
Yeah,
you got the black lines going through, the orange lines going through. It's a slick gecko.
Yeah, and I just love how it's like a lot of times tricolors it's white, orange, black, and this guy it's like speckled white, orange, black everywhere, mixed in a bowl and just painted on a canvas. Like it's not.
It's like a Rorschach.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's everywhere, but it's all sort of equal.
Love it.
Anyway,
this is gorgeous.
This is a bad photo. I'm sorry, guys. I went to cup her for this episode, and she decided to go into shed immediately after. which made me so sad. But this is my Felix Element girl. She's technically Frostline, but Frostline can throw these really incredible, like tangerine, tangerine, tigery tricolors. I love her because of her stark orange. The orange is incredible, and I really think the tigering will help sort of break up and make it a little bit more chaotic with my pinstripes. I think I can make it a little bit more crazy. So she will be going to my Zengex animal because he is more tangerine, and that's going to be kind of a wild pairing again, just because she's so tigery. I don't really know what to expect with the pinstripe influence. But
you should just go buy that gecko from Brian, that crazy tiger that he showcased.
Yeah, no,
that thing is
nuts. That thing's nuts.
You know, so
yeah, but
it might get me into geckos, you know.
But
awesome.
I am super excited for her. She's another one that grew super quick. All my females grew like bam, super fast, and I'm very happy about that. I'm just so excited having some fast growing genetics in my program. I think that's like really crucial to progressing a program faster.
I think one thing that people need to understand, not only is it good for the animals, it's good for our mental health. The amount of stress when you're doing everything right, you're trying to like dial it in, and it's like, grow, do something.
I'm doing everything. I'm popping heads off of crickets. I'm making you lick the food before you do it. Like I'm tongue feeding you a cricket. Why won't you eat? You know, or like when they do eat and they just don't gain any weight. I don't get it. Like I had one gecko that cleaned bowls every single time. It would gain like 0.1 gram a week. I'm like, why?
Yep. You know, it's not related to me in that case. So very cool. Anything else about this girl?
Nothing besides the fact that I love her. Her orange does not, like, this picture does not do her orange justice. Like, it smacks you in the face. And that's like, in the last podcast I talked about my quarrel with Tangerine. Does not mean I don't love Tangerine. If you can't tell, I've got a lot of, like, Tangerine traits.
If you catch her fired up between now and the time this gets edited, we'll post it right here.
There we go. That'll work.
All right?
Yeah.
Show her off a little bit better for you.
But I love the Tangerine look. Again, porthole. Holy cow. Who would have guessed? Is this porthole also from Rockstar Geckos? Also, yes. I love Rockstar Geckos, and I gave them lots of money.
Yes.
This is, again, different lineage. Like, I made sure and didn't just buy 3 full siblings from Rockstar Geckos. We didn't do that. We don't want a genetic bottleneck. But this girl is just stunning. I love her snowflaking. She's not as big a portholes as I want, but her base color is what I really like about her. Because I notice myself getting a little lost in the sauce when it comes to like the high white. Base color can kind of get forgotten about. And so I have her in here not only because she has that Harlequin look, like blowing up portholes. They're going to grow. She's going to be a stunning animal porthole-wise, but also she is super bright red, and I think that'll help breathe some life into my project to keep that red in there rather than it just turning into like an opaque brownish with a lot of portholes. Because that's something
that's important.
Yeah, with reds, you always have to keep that in the back of your mind. With like darks, it's a lot easier. But with reds, the base color is so easily affected with breeding.
You know, reds in general, this is where I think that crested geckos and gargoyles are similar, is that it's from what I'm gathering, it's stacking, right? And it goes in one direction most of the time, right? So you're getting, when you stack red on red on red, you get to a point where it starts to look either kind of maroony or, you know, I don't want to say muddy because it's not muddy, but you know what I mean? It's just that darker, deep red, you know, that blood red. And a lot of people like the fire engine red, which is kind of that middle ground. So you're trying to, you know, get the genetic stacking to kind of have a balance. Whereas with dark, you could just go.
You can just stack.
It's like stacking. The better, you know,
black,
the more the better. Right? You know, what are you going to throw on a mud monster? More mud? You know?
Exactly.
So, just something to kind of play with when you're dealing with
exactly.
Reds.
Yeah, and that's just so true. It's just it's a balancing game when you're working with reds. It's not only you're working on the pattern, but you got to make sure you keep the a red animal.
Yeah.
But again, classic things I look for. She has the white tipping on the crest, like she has snowflaking. She has the like white spotting under her chin too. I like that. And then kneecaps, elbows, the white around the legs too. And you can see she has a dorsal spot that is white. She has some white spotting on her dorsal, which is, that's what I'm going for.
Love it.
Yeah.
I will say, stuff like this, you see similar stuff in gargoyles.
Oh, really? The kneecaps and the elbows?
Oh,
yeah.
Just wait till we get to
Okay.
gargoyles.
Okay.
I'm not saying I know what it means, but I'm saying it does exist.
Okay. So we have another
Kylie
Dell.
special.
This is a Kylie special, but I had to name him. Mm-hmm. Oh, I guess I forgot to.
That's
so
too zoomed in.
The other Dell, female Dell, her name is Cruella, keeping with the theme of villains. Kylie wanted to name this guy something else, something. I had to name him because he's absolutely stunning. This guy is from AJD Reptiles. If you guys haven't noticed the trend, I like AJD Reptiles. He makes some very impressive things, and that I enjoy a lot. This dude is from Archer and C4. Archer comes from Crimson Crested lines, so that's super important when you're working with Dells, is you want to get diverse genetics, because we talked about head structure, things like that.
He's got great head structure for
exactly.
Dalmatian.
He's got really nice crests.
Yeah.
And he's got
I don't even know what I'm looking at, and it's awesome.
Mm-hmm. And he's got that nice mix of like medium-sized spots, and they're covered. He, again, is like 20-ish grams, so we're going to see him blow up even more. This is not his final form, I promise you, but I about guarantee he'll be ready for next season. And his name is Conquest.
Invincible?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love him so much. He was a Tinley pickup.
Nice.
I wasn't going to pick up a Dalmatian. I was like, I just don't really like anything here. And then of course, I walked by AJ's table. And I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't know your Dals were this nice. Because he always like saves the really nice stuff for Tinley and Flora Fauna. So what you see online isn't his nicest stuff. And so I go up and I see him. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I talk to AJ because he had a bunch just on the table, like every style of Dal you could ever want, depending on what project you want. So I talk with him, and he's really good about pointing you in the right direction to like which animal would complement your program the best. And he pointed this guy out to me. I took some time on it, but again, AJ, super nice guy. He wrote my initials on it and like put it back there because I have a feeling he knows that once I've like set on something, I buy it. He's good at his job. I'll give him that.
Yeah, there you go.
He knows
Customer service, people.
I know it. He's really good at
Makes
it.
a difference.
He's really good at it. I come back and I do end up buying it. I actually end up buying an empty back from him as well. The reason I'm not including the empty back is because I am currently figuring out what direction I want to go with empty back. I think I want to do more than super EBs, but that's a different podcast. I haven't even bought the right male for her. But so he's going to Cruella, the one I showed earlier, and I'm just so excited about it. Like, this is him like fired up. Like he is
super light. I love
pale.
The blotching, well, not
on
blotching,
his,
but on his nose.
The face, yeah.
Right, the spots there, like, that's just a cool placement.
He looks so... I talked with AJ about this, and I asked him, like, is there any way you can, like, selectively breed for location of spots? Like, there's gotta be a way. He's like, nope, not at all. They look cool, and they sell better sometimes if it's, like, a heart, but you can't. You can selectively breed for, like, how big they are, though. So, like, with this guy, it's medium-sized splotches around the body. You can selectively breed for giant ink splotches. You can selectively breed for little pinpricks. But I'm glad that AJ also kind of likes what I like. Just the medium-sized overall coverage. It just looks really nice. You can see the nice
clean,
dark splotch, and it's just a clean animal.
Though I will say, I don't know where it was on Instagram. There was a blotch that it was like ink spots, red doll spots, regular doll spots, and like it just looked like a tri-colored blotch.
It's like a confetti one.
Yeah, it was like a confetti, but on steroids. And I don't know, like, I'm not doing it justice with how I'm explaining this, but like it was next level. I'm thinking it was overseas, but
probably.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah,
very cool. He is probably one of the nicest, especially with head head structure.
Yeah, the head structure was
Male
huge for
doll.
me.
Yeah, I love them.
The head structure is. I'm just so glad I have males with good head structure.
It makes a difference.
Yeah. All right, I think this is the last one for me. We sort of sped run this. I'm just talking really fast because when I get excited, I talk. So,
Yeah.
going back to I work with cappuccinos and I keep them sort of in my red project. This is a female cap from AJ again. I feel like a broken record saying that. She may not look as striking as a lot of other caps, but her mom was red. And so that is the main reason why I bought her, was if I can get red into my caps quicker, I'm going to do that. And so she is going to be paired to my male Arson, the super high coverage red lily. And I really want to push red into caps. That's why I put my frap project in with my reds, because I want them red. I want them that burnt red coloring, because I love the way red fraps look. So she is going to be going to him next season. I'm super pumped to have something like this. Is not common for me to have something non-phantom in my red project. So I have something a little non-phantom-y in my red project, and I'm excited to do something that's not phantom. Even though I love phantoms, they're my favorite morph ever. But I'm like, oh, this will be cool.
You'd get bored if that's all you did. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah, I would.
So
this will. I'm excited about her. She's got the nice pinning going down her sides, but she's not the highest white you've ever seen. But again, she's got the red in her lineage, and that's the main reason I really want her. So yeah, making a little long-term play. I think that's it for me. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed my rant. I'm pumped.
Let's see if we're in the
Gargs. Yeah, it's Bobby's hour now.
So all right, here we go. Starting off strong here. This girl is from Koala Geckos. I actually wanted this gecko back when it was less than 10 grams.
Oh, wow.
And, and actually I almost made a trade for it back in the day. Trade fell through due to neither of us our faults, just a circumstance I won't get into. But it was kind of one of those geckos it was meant to be, right? Mm-hmm. So when it came available, it probably had the largest price tag I've ever seen on a gecko. But she is, I'll show a few more pictures too. This is her fire down. Yeah. So I love the fire down contrast, and her back keeps closing as she gets bigger. She's already laid duds. This is one where we were talking about earlier, mm-hmm. where she is so nice. I mean, just thick laterals, and going over here you can see kind of talking about that jaggedness on both ends, kind of like with the drippiness that you were talking about, how you want them to come from both sides and meet up in the middle. She's meeting up in the middle here, so she comes from an absolute powerhouse pair. Her older sister is actually the gecko that David at Tiki's is pairing with Pennywise, or not Pennywise, with Tampax. Mm-hmm. That's how powerful this genetics is, that it's something that he would want to pair up. Yeah. So I'm very excited. I think she's just going to, if she doesn't produce absolute stunners, I will be absolutely shocked and probably hang up my gecko breeding.
Hang up the gloves.
Yeah, because she's one. I've got a few that I'm about to show off that I have reinvested in my stock, and the anticipation is killing me. But the patience will pay off. You can just see here on her back here, over time they not all of them close up. She might not close up completely, but with 6 stripes, you're looking for, this is what we would consider a super stripe. Mm-hmm. Super stripe is where you can't tell where the center line and the outer line, where one starts and one begins, right? Okay. Them blending together would be a super stripe. And then on top of it, she's also a 6 stripe because she's got the laterals. With the laterals going back here, I'm looking for from the lips all the way through the cheek, all the way down into the tail. Like, that is what a really,
stunning.
Really
that
high quality one.
Stunning.
And to the point where, even you can see around the legs here, the cap there.
The kneecaps, elbows.
Yeah, it's very similar. So I'll move on from her. Now we've got Lava here. Lava, she looks like Lava, doesn't she?
Yes, she does. That's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things I love about this girl. She is from J Reptile, and she is one of my only Deadpool lines. So her father is the famous Magma, so Lava for Magma.
Yep.
He has produced some of the best geckos in the world. And she definitely is no slouch. She is not a six stripe. If you look at her laterals, they are broken, kind of like her father. But I love how they're just spreading.
Yeah.
Right. And she's got such thick backing. Now, I really think that these lines continue into the head when we talk about head color. You know, kind of that Deadpool line is known, if thrown the right way, to create eyebrows. I think that's the center line. The secondary line, I think, kind of goes right here in this path, where it's kind of that dot right above the ear, leading into the top of the muzzle. And then you've got laterals, which then, you know, can still kind of be the lipstick and ears, even if it's not a full stripe. So she is just super bright. Pictures don't do her justice, but paired correctly, she is just going to be an absolute.
Oh yeah,
beast.
she's going to be an amazing producer, probably. I mean,
yeah,
the head coverage
and she's
is
so
insane.
sweet. Talk about, I mean, she's huge. She's a little over a year old right now, and she's close to 55 grams.
Oh wow!
So she's a chunk. I thought she was going to lay eggs, to be honest with you, but she just hasn't. She cleans the bowl. She eats her crickets. So, and she's a sweetheart. She's never gaped at me. She is. She's always, you know, the ones that are just easy. They don't mind being picked up, and they almost like look like they're wanting attention.
Yep.
That's this girl. So, another one of my heavy hitter females. Yeah, this is Christmas. I named her Christmas because every time I open it, it's like
it's like Christmas
morning.
Day. Yeah.
You know,
Holy
this
cow.
is her completely fired down. She is from Dragonborn Exotics. She is from her grandparents are probably the two most famous, in my opinion, blotches out there. Vapona from Gargoyle Queen mixed with Amaterasu from Dragonborn himself. And that pairing produced some amazing offspring. That's Ryan's holdback from that pairing was this gecko's mother, and paired with Renee King line. So just an absolute powerhouse with this, and just the spreading. You know, not only is it down the all over the back, it's kind of spreading all the way on the sides. A lot of blotches you'll see are concentrated up top, and they kind of lack it over here. All over the leg, when you can see, you know, the leg this covered all the way down to the toes, that's a great sign. Just absolutely love her. And she really does have a red base. So I think paired, you can see here, she fires up. She's not as red as some of the other stripes that I've had, but again, that making of red base that you can pair nicely. So she's got a nice face speckling.
Just stunning animal.
Yeah,
You can send it to me if you want. You know, just
she's another
I'll take
sweetheart
care of
now.
it.
Not a chance. I think Ryan was a little seller's remorse after that, but he got something pretty cool too. This is a cousin. So this is the male I picked up from Dragonborn. What I like about him is he doesn't look like he has very much, if any, stripe influence. Yeah, a lot of the really, really nice blotches kind of have a stripe influence. We've been breeding stripes for so long, they're a little bit more stacked and advanced with pattern color. So to get a gecko this quality that just looks like it's fully reticulated as its main genetic base, really excited about this guy. And he's a little bit younger, so his color's still developing as far as turning red. He's kind of got that orangey hue, which at this age I would predict that it's more of a fire engine red. If they stay orange longer, it tends to be brighter. If they get real red real quick, it tends to be a little deeper just because it's stacked a little bit more. But again, just absolutely covered, got more face speckling there that'll grow. You can see from the back, that banding that a lot of people like with these. So this guy, I named him Shipwreck.
Yep.
So again, from Dragonborn.
I'm liking this. Me and you have. I'm liking the similar name trend here. I've got Monsoon, Typhoon, Hurricane, Riptide, Shipwreck.
Yep.
Heck yeah.
There we go. We got ocean themes.
Ocean themes for everybody.
This one is everybody's favorite. This one I got from H2O Reptiles. Oliver's my buddy. Actually picked this up at Tinley when I was hanging out with you the first time.
Yep.
And went out to the parking lot because Oliver lives nearby, and I went shopping. So it came back into Tinley with this one, and it was funny as I reached out to him. I said, "All right, I'm looking at this gecko from Korea, gorgeous, kind of a skeleton blotch look with eyebrows," and I go, "You don't happen to have anything like this?" No way. He goes, "Maybe. I'll show you." I saw it. I nearly shat myself. Like that. It was just like, Oliver.
Man, he is just
take my money.
He's so low key. It's crazy.
He is, but he's got.
I know that's
such high quality.
It's so I almost applaud him for him. He's just like, yeah, I just have really, really, really nice stuff. I don't need to show it around. People just hear about me, and that's enough.
Yeah, I know. It's It's like the good-looking people in high school. They know they're good-looking.
They don't have to try. Yeah.
No, not at all. But yeah, this one has the eyebrows. It's funny. The left eyebrow is a little bit bigger than the right eyebrow. So his name's Castaway. And Castaway, most likely, if I don't change my mind, will be paired with Christmas because I want to see if I can get the eyebrows to really pop because she's already so saturated. He's more of a brighter red, and if I can even fill in more of her center dorsal because she's sort of a spreader in my opinion, I think it might be a really cool kind of combination. So just another photo of him, kind of showing him off when he's fired down. He's really that skeleton look where you've got the spine. To me, a lot of skeletons turn out to be super or ultra blotches. And again, you see it has this look because it has influence
from the stripe.
The stripe, right? And both of his parents are blotches, but I guarantee somewhere down their lineage they had stripes in them. And so super strong center line, that's where I see the eyebrows coming in. And if we can use that as a building block for the next generation, it can be really cool. Just another fun photo of him. He's not as covered on the legs and on the sides, so that's where she could definitely help that next generation. God, I love that photo.
Yeah, it's stunning.
All right, next girl, and she is my biggest chonk. Okay, I picked this girl up. Her name's Tiki. You can guess where I got her from. So thanks, David. This was a Palm Street pickup. One of his hey, you get one shot. I took the one shot. I won her, and I appreciate it. So she is. When I first got her, she was just glowing red. She still is very, very red. Not as red as I've seen, in other geckos, but she's going into my red project. She'll be going in with Mahe, who I showed in the last video that we did, and replacing Eve. So she's going to be filling some big shoes there, but I think the blotch with another blotch really will complement each other a little bit better. She's got great coverage. Again, she's about a year old, and she's nearly 55 grams. So there's not a food she hasn't tried that she hasn't liked, and very eager to eat. But you can see, a lot of the times with these red on red, you're missing some of the color, the actual pattern color. They kind of lack on that. But she's got a great, you can see it kind of where she's half fired here. What I love about this gecko too is based on which level she's fired at, she's a completely different gecko.
Oh, yeah.
So that last one versus this, she's like Barney the purple dinosaur.
Yeah, if you would have told me this is the next gecko, I honestly was like, oh, cool, he got a purple one. That's awesome. I've never seen that before.
It's purple, but you still see the red, and you can see her pattern where that is, right? And for a red on red blotch, this is actually very impressive. It's not the most impressive blotch ever, but for red on red, I want to keep working on that because that should be a fun little project of mine. again, you can see it even more so here where she's completely fired down.
Yeah. Holy
right?
cow.
And here, it's crazy how I've never seen one get this white.
Yeah.
You know? So she doesn't do this very often, but when she does, I pull out my camera.
That's incredible. That, just knowing that it's the same animal, all three, like that is...
All three.
Oh, I love this gecko.
Isn't this great?
This is amazing. You're going to make me a guard guy.
I'm trying.
I'm already a guard guy. I already bought one from you.
I know.
You're gonna get me into all sorts of stuff.
Yep. Nope. Just I'll hook you up. You know how that goes. Speaking of hookups, Oliver again came in clutch. I actually, so fun story about this one. There's a newer guy on the Gargoyle beat, but he's not new. He's got some amazing new Cal stuff. Fig Eater, if you see him on Instagram, go say hi, tell him I sent you there, and go follow him because he's got some amazing stuff. He actually ended up getting a Garg from Oliver, and after I saw it, I called up Oliver and I go, Oliver, what the bleep? I'm like, come on. If you get something like that, you got to give it to me first. You know, and he's like, yeah, but they're, whatever. So I can't get them all. But it was just an absolutely stunning male. And he goes, don't worry, I've got one similar. And I go, you do you? So he brought this one over, and I immediately just handed my wallet over. So this will be another breeding male, hopefully next season. He's got good size on him. Again, a great grower, great eater. And the vibrancy with the red pattern on this is just next level.
Yeah.
So imagine pairing this. So I've got a few things I'm going to pair it with, and then I'm thinking of you pair this to the my girl Lava Deadpool line. You pair this to my koala girl, the first one that I was showing. It's just going to create absolute magic. So this is his group 5. I have definitely said group 5 is the best, geckos he produces, and he produces a lot of good geckos. So I was like, you got to figure out which is that one female, because the one female in that group, geez, that's a good pair. But yeah, what I also like about him, I don't know if you can tell from this photo, but over on his tail, right? Oliver told me that when he was a baby, before he even got to him, his clutch mate bit his tail.
Oh.
And it fell off. Right? Well, Gargs grow them back.
Okay.
Most of the time, Gargs grow them back, and they're just kind of this gray. And then they also get kind of like a black speckling all over it, which he has. But he also has black lines, and the red, you can see, is so powerful.
It's going back on the new grown tail.
It is. Okay. And so that's a really cool thing. So let's see if I have other photos. You can also see how the red is creeping up on his head, and he's sort of a red base when he's fired up. So that's kind of fun.
Yeah, it's stunning.
So
animal.
Paired correctly. So this one is a gecko where, you know how you fall in love with certain animals of other people, and they'll never sell them to you, and you're like, when you have a baby, right?
Yeah.
This is that story. So Cosmic Exotics, I love Paige's stuff. She's one of the best
incredible.
Gargoyle breeders.
Also, shout out to her photography skills. I wish I could take as good a photos as she can of her animals. Oh my goodness, they're incredible.
Yes.
Anyway, carry on. Sorry.
Maybe we'll have to have her on just for that.
Yeah.
She's very humble though.
I need to learn.
But with that, you've got the this blotch Brouhaha. Okay, I love that name. I wanted one of his kids. She delivered, and this is Brouhaha's son. So this is Kahuna. No, is this Kahuna? Anyway, I keep forgetting the names. That's the problem when you're growing so
big, yeah.
This gecko is awesome. It's definitely a boy.
Yeah, it is.
And there you go. You get to see that.
See that.
But what's cool about this one? So, Brouhaha, Paige is known at Cosmic for orange. She is one of the best orange breeders, and that's what's so hard is when you stack orange on orange, to keep it orange is rough.
Yep.
And some do and some don't, and he looked like he might like kind of a burnt orange for a while, but I just posted on my Instagram that he turned red. you know, and I'm not sad in the least. I love my red blotches, and it works better with my projects anyway. But it took him a little while, and he's going to be a bright red in my opinion. So you can see kind of how you went from even this burnt kind of bicolor kind of look,
now it's red. Yeah. Okay.
He also, you know, he doesn't fire up very often.
Oh.
And even when he does, it's a very light base. So I think that's kind of a cool thing here. Really shows off all of his speckling and just the coverage that he has.
Yeah. I'm a Garg newbie, but I love that the contrasty look of the pale base on a you know, covered animal. I think that's incredible. I love that. The stark difference. It's amazing.
I don't know if you know, crested geckos do this, but do you guys ever, like, you take photos and you're like, what were you doing with your hands? You know, or your feet? Like, they, like, curl them up sometimes. Like, just lay them out so they look normal, you know?
Promise this gecko does not have shedding issues. It was just being a silly little guy.
Sometimes that happens. And, like, it kills a great photo.
It really does.
This is my only gecko that I'm showing that I didn't purchase. This is my only holdback from the last 2 years.
Oh, wow.
All right.
It's a good one.
It's a nice one. So this was Proslin, who I just sold, mixed with Bimini, who I still have. And so it was a breeding out of, I don't have any other males. I don't have a good blotch male to throw to her. And actually, Paige was the one that said, actually, some of the best babies you get are from mixing. And she was completely right. So this gecko here, you know, really orange. So I'm expecting it to turn red based on the parents. But hopefully it's that bright red that we all love. Yeah, not a lot of head color. You know, a little bit of speckling in the front of the eye. Nice lipstick. But just, I mean, this lateral incredible. Is just massive and more jagged. So this is an older photo. This is a little bit more current photo. A little bit better lighting. And you can see this thing is progressing nicely. Incredible. So, and Bimini was known for growing quickly. This one, I feel like males always grow a little bit slower than females. I don't think they get nearly as big in the wild. Right, because they're more focused on reproducing.
On breeding,
Yep. But, you know, for being a male, he's growing at a nice clip, which I like. All right, now we're getting to my imports.
Okay, right? Here we go.
So if you follow me on Instagram or anywhere else, you know that I imported some geckos from Europe. One's a breeder that I showed in the last video that we did together, me and John. But I got a lot of babies in. And so these, as soon as I saw them, I actually saw them on Facebook, right? I just, being an old sometimes helps, guys. Okay, Facebook. I saw a post, and it was literally one page with all these geckos, and, you know, has little fly symbol. And I instantly messaged them. I'm thinking maybe I could afford one because I saw a ton of head color on these little tiny geckos. I ended up buying most of them. And then I was like, I'll figure out the shipping later. Shipped with Calubra. It all worked out beautifully. The breeder was phenomenal. I do not regret it. So this is one where he thought most of them would turn out male. But I ended up with 2 females and 1 male that I'm keeping. And this one is named Hula. So, I mean, just such clean, thick striping. You can see the head coloring here. I really think it's coming those from
lines,
like this is a little bit that center line, but it's not straight eyebrows. It's coming from the whole back stripe up through the head and around the eye, kind of like Tampax, right? I'm not saying it's on the exact same level, but I'm hoping the kids are even on a more far level than that. And it's still got really nice laterals here, but, you know, this is such a dark, saturated gecko that sometimes it can kind of get overlooked when I post it on Instagram. Because it's like, well, is that base color? No, you can see the base color is really different. And if you look over here where the pointer is, you can see color all over the face. And this gecko is only 12 grams, guys. All right?
Wow.
So it's got so much room to grow. Now, here's my favorite one. This is the sister, right? This is Aloha. Aloha is, I mean, just next level. I'm surprised she doesn't get the love when I post her that some of my other geckos get. And I think it's, again, because, she's got kind of a bicolor look, but it's that darker red. So maybe when I pair her, I'm going to pair her to something that's a little bit lighter.
Yeah.
So we get that lava look again. But she's got full-on eyebrows.
Oh, yeah.
But she also has that same kind of wrap around. One thing I've noticed, they all have this line. I don't know what it is, but the more I look at really high-end gargoyles, like super high-end stripes that have sort of a full package, I'm seeing that more and more. Maybe that's coming from this line here going through. Maybe it's coming, just an extension of kind of lipstick. But lipstick usually, that's on the lips. This is above it. So something that I'm keeping an eye out for. Another thing here is I don't think her back will close, but I love the speckling within that
it's incredible
dorsal there. If the black ever fades away on her, that'll fill in the back.
Oh, yeah.
But maybe the next generation. Right? Again, full leg kind of speckling too. Really, really interesting gecko. So look out for her in a few years. She'll take about 2 years to get ready, because I'm gonna take my time with this one.
Yeah.
She is not crashing.
Yeah.
Not worth it. But I mean, she's my favorite. I know
she's stunning. I mean, it's a good favorite to have.
All right. This boy here is her older brother. Okay? And if I was unethical in any way, shape, or form, I would take the three of them, and there's your trio. But I'm not going to do that. I promise you guys. So I'm way too transparent to get away with any of that shit. Oh, it looks identical to these geckos.
Oh, wow. They really are. They really look like siblings.
Oh, my God. But to have, okay, I'm telling you, there was 8 geckos, right? So when I picked him out, he actually had a really cool little thing where he used 8, I think it was like one of the dice you use for like Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh,
right?
yeah, D20.
Different size. Yeah, whatever it was. But he would just put the number, like, this is Gecko 1, this is Gecko 2,
it's so
this is
cool.
Gecko 3.
Yeah.
The girl before was number 8. The girl before that was number 5. This was number 2, right? So it's a little bit older. He ended up keeping number 1, right? And I tried to get it from him, but that's okay. Things happen for a reason. But this was this one ended up being the male that I kept, and to me, he's the brightest out of them. And I love also that his dorsal, not only is it so wide, right? It's multiple. This is not a 6 stripe.
Yep.
Right? I've heard people call some of these, like, if you actually count everything, it's like 4 on each side plus the 2 here.
Oh, it's a 12 stripe.
8 stripe. Yeah, 8 stripe, 10 stripe, 12 stripe, whatever. I mean, it all blends together, so it's a super stripe, 6 stripe, whatever you want to call it. But the really high quality ones, going back to little markers I look for, it doesn't mean it's always the highest end, but a lot of the high end ones have the connection where it goes and it kind of wraps around the neck and meets up with the dorsal. Something I'm looking for, again, meets through here, goes through the lateral, down the tail. See the next picture. Up here, again, that little bit of strip of color coming up around the eyes, down the face. Just love this gecko. There's an even better view here. I would love the next generation for this to connect here. That would be great.
That'd be cool.
More lipstick. I've seen them where they get real crazy, almost like Joker.
Yep.
Right? So, and then the last gecko I'll show for the evening is one I don't even have in my possession yet. Okay? But it's bought and paid for, and I pick it up at the next NARBC show. But this one is from Northern Gecko, and going back to my red on red project, I don't think I have the fired down photo, but I did ask for it because I'm like, I really want to expand on high, patterned red on red.
Yep.
not just red on red, because a lot of the red on red you see when they're fired down, there's like hardly any
there's
pattern.
just a regular blotch. Yep.
You know what I mean? So luckily enough, they were phenomenal, and they have such high quality. The horns on this thing also is something that I focus on. I want to make sure my Gargs look like Gargs. And the one thing I'll point out about that is until they get a little bit older, until they're at least 15, 16 grams, some babies will show a little bit of horns if they're like really well endowed. But some of them you can't tell, right? So like, it looks bald. It just hasn't popped yet, you know? All of a sudden they hit, Garg puberty and, they get their horns. So just something to kind of think about too. But I love the full cheeks here. You can kind of see, the more you look at these things, like this is pattern color, this is pattern color, this is pattern color.
Yep.
This
yeah, you can
thing,
start to see
this huge thing. I love the bigger this blotch is, right behind the ear. That's also something I'm looking for. Little things that you pick up on, talking to other breeders, talking to other people in the hobby, just looking at different collections. And, I've been a big, advocate for this, but anybody who has a website where you can go back and look at baby, progression photos, it's not everything, but I still even do it today where I have a baby and then I'm like, let's go and just compare to, okay, so if I'm going to go onto, Gargoyle's website and I want to look at Vapona, who I know is a powerhouse, she's got pictures of him at, I don't know how many grams, but he was small, and I'm like, ooh, mine does look similar. Maybe it does have potential. So something to kind of consider.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all my geckos that I've purchased this year and my one holdback.
Heck yeah.
So very cool. Guys, did we I don't think we ran out of steam. Did we?
No,
did
we just spun through that. That was like action packed. It's an hour. I didn't realize it was an hour. It felt way quicker than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
That was a while. But guys, that's the future. Let me get off this for a second. You just got a sneak peek of the future of Goldenrod Gex and Gecko Cove. And if you're watching this and sticking around to this point in the episode, hopefully you are just as excited as we are. Maybe not as excited as we are. It's pretty hard to be that way.
Yeah.
But, when it comes to us releasing babies, you'll see kind of what we're working with, what our goals are. And hopefully this gives you kind of an insight into what we're thinking and why what we're doing.
Exactly. And I think this goes well since I think this is going to be sent out after, I think, is it going to be directly after? Not directly after, but like the next podcast.
We'll discuss it later.
Yeah, the next podcast after we talk about our hatchlings. So you get a chance to see how we're pushing those projects that we already have babies from, what we're doing to sort of put in the next gen of it. I only included the things that I'm going to have breeding next season. I guess it's kind of out in the air. I do plan on, with my tricolor look, I am going to be putting sable in it. I have a very stunning sable growing out right now, but she's still pretty young, so I'm going to let her progress a little bit and allow you guys later with that one. So
nice.
Yeah.
No, that's the beauty of I almost feel bad with it happened last video and this video. I show everything. John has to be selective.
Yeah, I
actually pick and choose because you got a few more geckos than I do.
I have a few more geckos. It's just crested geckos, man. Yeah. I got to be selective, otherwise I'll be yapping for forever if I just show every gecko I've bought.
Yeah,
I have enough smidgen of a problem, but it's a good problem to have. Who needs a pickup? Right?
Let's wrap up on a fun question. I think a lot of people want to know, and only the people who stick around obviously will get the privilege of the insight of this. On average, what would you say was the average price for a gecko, like high end, low end of what you bought in the last year? What was the most expensive gecko you bought? What was the list price? Maybe you didn't. Maybe there was trades involved, but we won't talk about that.
Well, I didn't even show the one I bought. That's my most expensive.
That's okay. I'm guessing it was the sable.
The list price was like $2,200.
Okay.
I think it wasn't that. I shouldn't say it wasn't that bad. That's cute.
Someone
probably just puked because it was also 3 grams when I bought it though.
Okay.
So I spent 2,200 on a 3 gram gecko.
Which one was that?
That was the sable. The
That was the
sable.
sable. Okay.
When I got it, it was 3.6.
Okay.
So as far as weight to money wise, it's
Well, we're not it's not per pound. Okay, that's not what we're doing.
but
here.
the nature of geckos.
So okay, and then what was the most cost effective gecko that you're still excited about?
Definitely the Dow girl. Full disclosure, I bought her. I bought her as like a little package. She was like an add-on gecko. I just didn't know what it was going to look like from LIC Herbs, and so they're like yeah, $100. So I was like, all right, cool, and that I think
It worked out. That's a great $100.
Either that or probably my male Riptide. I'm not going to say how much I spent for him just because it was way lower than I should have. But I got a very, very, very good deal on him.
Yeah. And there are deals, like you never know who's in what kind of need for money, or, there's a sale, or it's a Palm Street thing, or whatever. My highest list price gecko that you saw today,
$8K,
was over $8,000. I think it was $8,500. And it's on Morph Market if anybody wants to go back and search. Okay, you can go back to the sold page. It was $8,500. Not saying I spent $8,500, but yeah. And then the lowest price gecko that I showed, obviously I produced the one, so that's technically the lowest. But I think it was $400.
Yeah,
it was the lowest. And I don't buy many geckos that are under 800.
Excluding that $100 gecko, the lowest would be $5.
Okay.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, on average, what would you say is like where you're at today in the hobby?
Like on average, what am I spending on a gecko?
Like, what's the average price for a gecko that you're actually interested in at this point? Because like when you're starting, you're always looking for deals, but like there's an average price where you're like going through Morph Market. It's like, okay, after this point, it's a lucky find if it's cheaper than this.
Yeah, I would say low end. Again, like this is all perspective,
It is.
As far as list price goes, on average, I'm looking at around $1,000, $1,200 into like $800 to $1,200 animals. That's on average what I look at. Not necessarily because I'm just going by the price. It's just that's what I'm drawn to at this point.
Right. There's some stuff in that price range.
Yeah, there's some stuff.
Yeah, it ain't worth it.
If you want to have fun, go on Morph Market, okay?
Yeah.
And you sort by highest, okay? You find an animal that you're like, oh, there's no way that's worth 4K. And then you check how long it's been listed. I've seen some that have been listed for 4 years. Just that absorbent price. I'm like, this man is stuck in colored pricing.
Do you feel like it's almost like when you go to Costco and you see the giant? I mean, they're eventually going to switch out of TVs because TVs are getting cheaper and cheaper. But like it's like that big shocking value thing to get you like everything else looks so much cheaper because it's only $10 to $15.
Yeah,
where that was
But it's like different when you're
10K.
like you scroll down one bit, find a better animal for half as much, and you're like, this guy is So that's one of my fun tips if I ever need a nice little like pick me up if I don't think my pricing is right, is I find someone that like wants a regular lily to be $10,000 still, and I'm like, 4 years on Morph Market, not for me. But on average, I would say that the quality I'm attracted to ends up being in that range. Some more expensive, some less. Obviously, like Sable is a newer gene. And when I enter into a gene, I think this is a good practice to catch up on. If you don't know, genes depreciate in value faster than pretty much anything in the hobby, especially incomplete dominant ones, because the more you breed them, the more there is there, because there's that guaranteed. So I like to invest in quality phenotypical expressions of the gene.
Yeah,
I waited for like over a year to find a Sable that I actually liked. I didn't want to buy a Sable just because it was a Sable. I wanted one like, ooh, I would buy that. I think that actually looks cool. And so that's part of why I spent so much on it, when now Sables are regularly going for like $700, $800, $1,000. You can buy a decent Sable for $800, especially if you choose to go through Korea. But I chose to spend the extra money because when you have that phenotypical expression to back up the gene and complement it, that's going to hold value and it's going to look good and you're going to be satisfied with the offspring that come out.
So they all don't look the same.
No, funny enough. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say, and it's changed. It's rapidly changed over the last few years. I would say on average when I was starting, $600 to $1,000 was kind of the sweet spot, where sometimes you got to get better deals, sometimes you spend a little bit more, but that was like where I was. And it's creeped up and up and up. And I would say on average, anything under 2,000 looks like a bargain for me right now. But I'm super selective. Obviously, I like the stuff that's 3,000 and more. But even sometimes I look at some of the geckos that are listed for 3,000, 3,500, and I'm like, it's not going to make me want to pull the trigger.
Exactly.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. If I was starting out, it would be my dream gecko. But where I'm at right now and what I have right now, I have to be very selective.
Yep.
And if I were to go back and tell myself 3 years ago what I would be willing to spend on a gecko, if it was the right gecko, I would say, what is wrong with you? Go get your head checked.
Yeah, if I would have told myself 3 years ago that I didn't buy a new pickup and instead I have 70 geckos now, the dude would probably be like, oh, so are you like single and you just live in your basement? Is that what's going on? I was like, no, I'm actually happiest I've ever been. But
okay, if this is you, I'm gonna say something that happens to a lot of us. If this is you, you have to promise me, go smash that like button right now. Okay, so how many people who breed geckos go and tell someone who has no idea about geckos, right? That you breed geckos and you spend X amount of money and they think you are absolutely off your rocker, insane. Who would spend more on a gecko? You spend more than $50 on a gecko?
You sound like my mom.
You tell someone, right, or that's my point, right? Or, who's going to buy a gecko for that? That's, no, you did not make that, So if that sounds like you in any way, shape, or form, please do us a favor. Hit the like button. Tell us your story down in the comments because the comments do make a huge difference. Not only does it make John feel good.
It makes me feel good. I need a pick-me-up.
So, but it also makes me feel good. It makes us actually want to continue doing this. And, it helps the algorithm more than anything to kind of spread the love of geckos to as many people as possible.
Exactly. Plus, it's fun to see Bobby happy. We should make every comment is like
I don't smile much.
Every comment is like a thing of pasta that Bobby has to eat since he's Italian or something like that.
Funny you mention that.
Italian.
I do love pasta.
He does. He's Italian, everyone, if you didn't know that.
I'm Italian, but I'm also really, really pale Irish. So you got both. But we're getting summer. The longer you watch these episodes, the more tan I'm going to have, which is really nice. But what was I going to say? It's
pasta, Italian.
Pasta. Oh, yeah, no. Hopefully, and I'm going to put it on here now, and this is not going to air for for a week or so.
Yeah.
But if you guys can keep watching these videos, let me know if you think I'm gaining weight, staying the same, or reducing weight. It'll keep me accountable. And feel free to troll me and actually be cruel as hell, okay? Because I'm going on a eating regimen, I'll put it that way, and pasta is not on it whatsoever. So
no pasta.
No
pasta. We can't do the one comment equals the thing of pasta Bobby has to eat.
No.
Shucks.
How about this?
It should honestly be me. I'm skinny. I need to get my weight back up.
I'll eat a burger every time that
Oh, that's fair. All right, guys. I need you to have like
work?
30 comments. I want to watch Bobby try to eat 30 burgers. That'd be hilarious.
That'd be great.
Gecko Cove, Goldenrod Gex Mukbang. It's happening. We're going to eat food and talk about geckos. Well, our geckos also eat food. They're going to sit there and eat fig and insect or zoom it or whatever, and we'll also eat food and we'll answer your questions. That sounds
fun. Should we just steal the hot sauce thing?
Honestly, let's do that. I love hot sauce. I've got a couple you'd love.
I do love hot sauce, but as you get older, you'll realize that hot sauce stops loving you at some point.
Take some omeprazole. You'll be fine.
Yeah. No. Not the stuff I used to eat.
All right, we got to wrap it up. We're talking about hot sauce and mukbangs.
Yeah, I love it. Hey, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Again, I'm Bobby with Gecko Cove.
And I'm John with Goldenrod Gex.
And until next time, you have a good one.
Yeah, see you guys.
Hey, if you've enjoyed this video and want to encourage me to make more Gargoyle Gecko content, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button, share this with a friend, and maybe check out one of the videos right over there. I'll see you next time on Gecko Cove.